if you see the brand, you've seen it on Instagram or for example a Facebook, and then you're going to the store, you're able to correlate. Okay, I saw this brand on my phone, and then I'm seeing it again in the offline store. So there should be a story which should marry between both the digital marketing and also the offline marketing.
Hello everyone, yet another day, another trade marketing leader with me. My name is Dheeraj. I'm your host of Carrots and Stakes. Today with me, I have Siddhant Garg. Welcome Siddhant, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dheeraj, for having me here. And I just like to sound off that this is my first podcast, so a bit excited and also nervous.
No worries. We'll try to make it much more fun and a learning experience for the people who are listening to this. Before I start, I want to give everybody an intro of Siddhant. He is currently heading trade marketing function at A.O. Smith. Before that, he has worked with brands like Pidilite and Philip Morris. So yeah, are you ready, Siddhant, for the round of questions?
Yeah, absolutely. We can start.
Okay. Learning more about how the brands deal with their channel partners, basically the distribution channel, what incentives or what kind of programs are run to make sure that your brand is more visible to the customer, or customer knows about your brand. What I have learned is trade marketing is one of the most important function, right?
Yeah.
That's where the inception of this podcast happened. So yeah, I think I'll start with my first question. How do you design trade marketing strategies that don't just increase your sales in short term, but also build a loyalty among your channel partners, right? Your retailers and distributors. Are there any specific approaches or frameworks that you have found that work well?
Yeah. So in the intro itself, right, you mentioned an important point. So for us, or for personally, for even for me, like all the trade partners, right, they are basically your brand custodians. They are the ones who are carrying the brand forward. So the most important aspect, obviously, is to enable them to understand what your brand ideology is, and also to have a relationship with them. Now, if you want to achieve a long-term sustainable trade marketing strategy, right, the first and most crucial, which is a basic thing, is that you need to step out of your office very often. You need to go into the markets. You need to connect with your trade partners, be it your retailers, distributors, and also end customers. Long-term relationship can be built only when these trade partners, they feel valued. They feel that they're being heard. And in terms of a strategy, right, broadly, our strategy goes around 4 points. First is your lucrative trade schemes. Second, obviously, is about trade marketing visibility. It has to be clutter breaking so that you're able to register your brand in the minds of the user. Then you also need to invest in demand generation, activations at the storefront, also at pivotal societies. And apart from that, we also need to have presence in local events. So when you're doing a cumulative of all these 4 things, right, so the partner is able to understand, your trade partner is able to understand that you don't just believe in product placement. You are basically fostering a long-term relationship wherein you want sustained demand to happen over time, and also you want the partners to grow along with the brand. Yeah, so that's the strategy that we normally follow.
Understood. See, in your experience, what's the best way? You talked about lucrative incentivization, right?
Yeah.
What is the best way to motivate your channel partners to prioritize your product over your competitors? I know it's all about relationship, but incentive plays equally important role to build a good relation also, right?
Yeah. See, I agree that incentivizing the trade partner is important. But for that, I would say that obviously the trade schemes are designed in such a way that they make economical sense even for the partner to pick up your stock. But apart from that, we don't intentionally invest so much just on the trade schemes, because then you are again bringing the relationship down to a transactional one. So apart from that, what value add we can do as a brand, right, is you can follow, I would say, about 3 pointers. The first one is that whatever is your brand ideology, right, that needs to be communicated with clarity across all your collaterals, around all your deliverables. For example, your catalogs, your in-shops, even the product display itself. it needs to emphasize and it needs to bring out that value proposition very clearly, so that even when the retailer is talking about your brand to a customer or an end user, he's able to emphasize the same thing. And in today's scenario, you would understand that the user is not just interacting with one retailer. They might go in an online marketplace, they might go to a MOR. So everywhere, wherever there is an interaction with the brand, right, that same value proposition needs to be highlighted to him, so it becomes a consistent story for the end user as well. Second is, even when you're coming up with your value proposition, there needs to be some distinct differentiator between you and the other players in the market, right? So obviously, brands do try to have an emotional connection with the partners, with the users, but apart from that, there should be one USP that stands out on, like, for example, if you are emphasizing on a concept of premiumness, so your catalogs will be also designed in such a way, that there is a subtle dark element to it, there is a subtle tone to it, and the font is also designed in such a way that it is bringing out that sense of premiumness, that okay, yes, we are a premium brand. Similarly, even your posters, you will intend to design them in such a way that it's not too loud but subtle, yet bringing out that sense of premiumness. And a third part, which I think we've also emphasized, which you've asked in the question itself, right? So the relationship part, it's very easy to take it in a different direction. Relationship, you might feel, okay, I'm speaking to my partners, I am doing my bit, I'm meeting them, that is enough. No, it's more like you open a two-way communication channel. The trade partner needs to understand that okay, not only people are coming to meet me, in addition to sales, people from the brand are also coming to meet me, everyone is coming to meet me. And apart from that, for example, if I'm giving 4 feedback, at least one of them is something which is deliberated on, tried to be implemented. So this is the concept is more about co-creating strategies along with them. So I would say that we shouldn't just coin the term relationship, it goes beyond that. It's like a partnership in a sense.
See, my observation here is trade marketing is not only an office job, it's what's happening on the ground. Correct. Right? Where consumer and your retailer or your seller and buyer are interacting. Definitely. That's the place where the heart and the mind of a trade marketing leader is, right? Yes. To figure out the trends, to figure out the shortcomings or maybe what's working best, and then apply accordingly.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So talking about this, trade visibility is really a key aspect of trade marketing.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
However, with so many brands investing in, in shops, or how you manage to capture the consumer eyeballs in such a cluttered market space where so many brands are fighting for a same space.
Yeah. So I think, I believe so that visibility is the most crucial part of trade marketing. Visibility is that medium through which the end user is able to register your brand. And like you said, right, in today's marketplace, be it online, be it offline, there are so many options, brands present, that the entire space is cluttered. It's very difficult to register your brand. So one thing which I personally believe in is that instead of just benchmarking your visibility against what other players are doing in your category, it is important that you scan the market from a neutral perspective, from a perspective of a user. You can take any unrelated category also, which might be doing some pivotal element, and adapt that to your to your specific category. So the intent is more about adapt and scan. I'll give you an example of a recent innovation that we had actually done. So we basically do our product displays, wherein we tend to deploy our dummies on a product wall. Now the challenge that we were facing, right, you would appreciate that most of these stores, they already have branding done. So we were not able to get a wall space. And when we used to push the retailer to get a wall space, they used to say that, okay, the product obviously sells throughout the year, but there is a seasonality to it. So for them also, it doesn't make sense that, they allocate one wall to us for the entire year. And we, like, as a trade marketing strategist, I would say consciously we are not willing to spend money on a temporary display, because like I told you earlier, right, we need to communicate that sense of premiumness. So whatever we are doing, it comes at a cost. And if it is said that it is there only for 6 months, 7 months, then it doesn't make sense at all. So what I was able to observe, right, when you go in market, for example, all these fan players, they have a mobile unit for displaying their fans. So these units basically are parked outside the store. They can be carried inside or they can be brought outside. And what it effectively does is that it eliminates the need for a wall space, because it's like a mobile stand itself. And when you're deploying it outside, right, not only people who are walking into the store, even the people who are walking past your store, they also see the brand and they're able to register, okay, this brand is selling this. So this concept is something which we liked a lot internally also, and we adapted this for our specific category. So wherein we came up with a display for water heaters and water purifiers, and then we were able to leverage this stand to widen the visibility of our dummies across the network of stores. So basically the concept, like I told you, right, is just you need to keep your eye out and keep registering whatever new options are there. For example, there might be some FMCG player who's done some very visually attractive countertop, or for example, if you were to benchmark a tobacco player, they normally have those space optimized shelf highlighters. So all these elements are something that you can bring into your category and then try to make an impact.
Understood. But don't you think, I understand a legacy brand would like to be in a particular place for a longer period of time.
Okay.
But from the cost perspective, majority of your customer is going to buy a particular product which is a seasonal in the season itself only,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And off season, there is no point of displaying the same product over those walls where consumer might not be looking or visiting toward that area.
Yeah.
What do you think on this?
See, I'll tell you now, the concept about this is that, for example, today, Dheeraj, you might step out into the market. You already have a water heater, and now we are getting into summer. It's not a relevant purchase for you, but you visit a few stores in a specific market. You see a particular brand, right? And then it might happen like 6 months later, when you actually want to purchase that product. Okay, that brand gets registered in your mind, and at least it moves into your consideration state. When you're going to the store, and then store will show you brand A, brand B, but then you might say, okay, I also saw a brand C, recently about 6 months ago. Can you just show me the products for that brand? So the intent is that for visibility, it is not about capturing just the relevant purchaser at that specific point of time. It is about creating a constant recall in the mind of the consumer, because each and every person at some point of time, maybe today, at the end of the year, 2 years later, he might be your customer. So the intent is done with that purpose.
What I understood from your point is, in the season, when you are displaying your product or you are advertising, you want to stay on the top of your consumer's mind.
Correct.
But during the off season, it's all about staying on the back of their mind.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? Because when they go in the market to buy something, they can recall the product or the brand. It's all about the recall value.
Yeah. So I think you've called it out correctly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I think data plays a really important role to tell you the trends and insights, right?
Yes.
To guide your trade marketing decisions, right? Do you have any such example where data or the insights change the whole approach?
Yeah. So see, basically for all of us, right? Like all of us in marketing or whoever is strategizing, obviously we take data very seriously. You will obviously analyze your data, try to determine, okay, which product is selling well, which markets are doing well. But what I have come to understand after all these years of experience is that it is very essential that you marry the data that you're getting from your analysis with respect to the ground reality. Like you need to connect the dots with respect to what insights you're getting from your trade partners, from the sales team, from the end customers, to be able to, I would say, interpret the data correctly. Now, I'll give you an example why I say this. For example, there is a product X, right? This year it has done exceptionally well. It has been growing multifold. Now, internally, you might see the data and then you might start celebrating. Okay, we're doing very well, and this is something which is where we've been right in our strategies. For example, once you step out into the market, okay, you might realize that okay, this product is selling only in a specific stores, or it is selling only in specific region, for example, right? Or alternatively, the subcategory itself is booming and all the players along with you are growing multifold. Or there can also be a third scenario wherein you feel that the product, you understand that the customer's needs and the product, what it's giving is totally in alignment, but there is an opportunity to grow much more, right? So all these things will get registered only once you validate what insights you're getting from your Excel. And like I told you, like now once you're able to appreciate, okay, there is an opportunity to maybe expand your presence in more stores, or for example, you know that okay, the product is basically sitting well with your customer, so therefore we need to maybe promote it more. So that's how your strategies might get tailored, rather than just assuming, okay, this is a victory point for us.
What's the next big thing in the trade marketing, and for which the brands or the companies or the marketers themselves should be prepared for? Any such trends and new things that are coming in place?
So when I was recently reading, right, online, I basically came across a concept of second screen enough. Okay, so second screen enough is something which I think is used by OTT platforms to evaluate their content. Here, the inherent assumption is that your end user or your end customer is going to be primarily on their phone, which is basically the primary screen, plus they will interact with whatever content you have. Okay, so this is one concept which I will be using in answering this question. And another thing which I've also seen is, like, increasingly, again, with respect to OTT, right, we users or customers basically are spoiled for choices, and which also gives rise to a concept where, because we have so many choices, we are not able to commit to any one particular content. For example, there's also always this concept, okay, I might see a movie A, I might feel, okay, movie B might be better, so I just switch. So because we are spoiled for choices, I feel it is difficult to commit to any one thing. So correlating with this, with both the points, when I say second screen enough, right, what essentially happens is that our digital marketing, right, it needs to tie into our offline marketing, because that's where normally your customer will see the brand first. Okay, like, for example, today, if you see the brand, you've seen it on Instagram, or for example, a Facebook, and then you're going to the store, you're able to correlate, okay, I saw this brand on my phone, and then I'm seeing it again in the offline store. So there should be a story which should marry between both the digital marketing and also the offline marketing. And second thing, in terms of giving unlimited choices, right? For example, if I tell you, okay, we have option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you might be like, okay, I'm confused, let me take some time. What we would want to facilitate is that the decision happens instantly. So rather, the intent is to show to you only, for example, 2 or 3 products which are relevant to you. Okay, so in digital marketing, how we can achieve this is that we try to shift from a traditional static displays to dynamic digital displays, right? And what you can actually do is you can then customize the content that is being played in these digital displays. Like the displays which are now coming up, they are connected via net, and then they can be remotely controlled, wherein you have the option to even customize the content at a city level, or even a district level, or pin code level. So the level of customization should be such that it should be what I'm displaying in, for example, a store 1 in a city, store 2 in a city, should be relevant to the customers there, so that you're able to show only the 2-3 options to them, and then they're able to simply choose, okay, this is something which I want. So that level of customization via a digital screen medium is something that we obviously are on a path to, and that is where I think our transition next moves into.
Got it. I think we have gathered enough insights from your experience, Siddhant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me and sharing your insights about what's happening in the market.
Yeah.
One or two things which I think more people will get to learn about is first, like you said, the brand recall value. Second thing you rightly said is this second screen enough, right? I also heard about it somewhere that we also want to consume the content which we are consuming while we are on the go, maybe doing our regular shows or maybe working, right?
Correct.
So if that is also a way of registering your brand in the subconscious of your consumer.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
So I got these 2 insights from our conversation, right?
Yeah.
These major points. There were many insights I got, but these 2 major points that I captured.
Yeah.
So with this, thank you so much, Siddhant.
Yeah. So I would also like to thank you, because when you are engaging in such conversations, right, there are always strategies which are in the back of your mind. But once somebody explicitly asks you, then it forces you to think on those lens and then call them out. So yeah, for me also personally, I think it was a very good interaction, and yeah, I hope to keep seeing more content from you. Yeah.
Yes, we will. Thank you.